What was your least favourite subject at school?
Oh my God.
Everything for me. Everyone says he's underrated. I'm like, surely if everyone says he's underrated, then he's actually rated. So that and more coming up as myself and Angelina are here to answer some, not all, of your questions. But thank you for all of them anyway. Right, let's kick off this week's Q&A with you. One from you.
Okay, so this is from Ryan Yoel. Who is the most talented playmaker in the Bundesliga, and who is the one who works the hardest?
Oh, what a good question. I think the most talented playmaker, it's almost taken on a whole new role, what it means to be a playmaker and who's doing what. You could say that someone who has an insane amount of assists is a good playmaker, like someone like Jadon Sancho, Christopher Nkunku. But they might not necessarily be what you think of when you think of playmaker. I don't know. When they think of playmaker, you think of like a small, nifty kind of Iniesta, David Silva type player, or someone who's really good at passing. But then, I mean, Sancho's good at passing, but he's not up there with the best. But he makes the plays, technically, and provides a ridiculous amount of assists. I'd say one of the most talented is Sancho. I think Julian Brandt's up there for sure. Nkunku. In terms of working the hardest, I'm definitely going for Thomas Muller.
Yeah.
I think he works hard in not an obvious way. Like, he is a proper space finder, and he does so much work. Sounds difficult to explain. He does so much work when he is off the ball, but Bayern are on the ball.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're working hardest when your team aren't in possession and you're tracking down and you're just a hard-working guy. He works so hard to create space when his team have got the ball for the rest of his team, and that can help make the play even if he's not directly involved in it. I think, I'm going to go with Thomas Muller for sure.
Good choice. Next question. So this is from Magic Blue 9. Is Gomez from Atalanta the most underrated playmaker this season?
I'm not so sure this season because Atalanta have done so well. We always have this discussion when people are like, Baba's underrated. Everyone says he's underrated. I'm like, surely if everyone says he's underrated, then he's actually rated. I think people are misusing the word. Everyone knows who Gomez is. Everyone knows who Atalanta are now. They're in the, quarterfinals of the Champions League. An unbelievable season for them. Within the last few years, yes. But I guess, I don't know, if you follow Italian football, Atalanta or Gomez, you'll know that he's been brilliant for quite a few seasons now. Same with people like Josip Ilicic in the team. He's also a great goal scorer. He has some brilliant goal scoring seasons. Is he? I don't think he's underrated this season. I think people know who he is, and he's rated, and he's a great player. Yeah. For sure. Right, Nafi Ahmed next up. All in caps, Nafi, you've written this.
It.
I have to shout this whole question. Would you say Kevin De Bruyne is the world's best playmaker at the moment? He has been at Barcelona. Had he been at Barcelona or Real Madrid, he would be considered to be better than Anders Iniesta and Toni Kroos. Ooh, tough one.
I think maybe at Real Madrid, depending where he would have fit into the team. Yeah, I'm sure he could have been rated higher than some of the players that they've got. Iniesta, big ask. Big ask to
massive.
Be considered. I think that's the guy's only 28. I don't think certain people you don't put them in the same category. He's just kind of like up here in this little cloud with a couple of other players. I don't think it would be fair to compare. But regarding him being, the world's best playmaker, I think he's up there. He's certainly up there and definitely in contention for it 100%. And that pains me to say that. Yeah. I think you could, I'm sure there is an argument to say he is the world's best.
Yeah.
I think he's had injury issues. I think he's managed to bounce back from it really well. I think the last time I read about him, he was like the highest midfield goal scorer in midfield in the Premier League or something. I don't know if he's still got that, but I think in this season so far, like 35 appearances, 19 assists. 19 assists. I mean, that's it's special, and I just think he's got such a great range of passing. his composure on the ball.
His
He's always got
technique
really
is
good vision.
unbelievable.
Exactly, and I feel like, I don't think it gets that tough for City. Well, they still have the tough games, but he's somebody that they can look at, say, this guy's going to dig deep and this guy's going to help us find a pass and he's going to create something. I think he's really reliable for them in that sense, and I think that's what you want from a player like that, somebody you can look to that's going to find those passes, as you get in, as the clock's ticking, someone who's going to find that little pass and get that last minute goal that you might need. I think you of course he is 100% up there. Yeah,
he's definitely up there. Would have been better than Iniesta or Kroos. He'd be you'd be near in those categories, but nothing.
Yeah,
I feel like this question's trying to throw shade on Iniesta and Kroos, really. Maybe. Nah. I think he's just as good.
Yeah, he's all right, isn't he? So, right. So next question. This is from Kimathai Waragongo. Hopefully I said that right. So, who do you think is the most underrated fullback in Europe? Loving the vids from Kenya. Thank you.
Damn, from Kenya. Again, this is the whole underrated thing. If I were to say, there is no way in answer to this question, and thanks for the question, there is no way I could say the most underrated fullback is Alphonso Davies or Hakimi, because bloody the world and his wife bang on about how good those two are. I'm not going to say Robertson or Alexander-Arnold because they're not underrated. Everyone rates them. They're Champions League winners. They can't possibly be underrated. It kind of needs to be someone who, you probably don't think of as quite such a good fullback. Oh, it's going to be a tough one. I would say someone like... I think Matt Doherty at Wolves is pretty good. I'd say he's a pretty decent fullback. Again, someone who's not like spectacularly well known. But you're kind of treading a fine line because if he was that good, then everyone would rate him.
Yeah.
He wouldn't actually be underrated. But yeah, he's pretty good. Who else? I don't know. Who are you thinking? I think everyone rates the fullbacks.
It's a tough one because I guess maybe you should try and look at it as like who should maybe have more respect put on their name. Maybe I'm trying to think.
Players like goal-scoring fullbacks, like Goossens, I think, at Atalanta, who's got an insane amount of goals, is amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good, and you don't hear his name thrown around too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's obvious that you hear the biggest names from the biggest clubs. But yeah, no. When it comes to, as I say, Hakimi, Davis, Trent, all them lot, they are rated. Everyone loves them. Everyone talks about them. They're definitely not underrated. Jungle King next up. Who's the best fullback duo of all time?
Oh.
Bam. Straight answer.
Oh my God.
It's a tough
I don't know.
one.
That is really tough. Oh.
I feel like the fullbacks have changed so much over the years. And there's like different kinds of fullback. Because you could say like Gary Neville was a brilliant fullback, which he was for so long. But if you put him next to the attacking ability and what a modern day fullback does, it's like putting Dennis Irwin next to like Alphonso Davies.
Yeah.
Davis would ruin him every day.
I mean,
it's a tough one.
I mean, like Patrice Evra always springs to mind as well. I think that would probably, and again, not just because I'm a United fan, everyone, but I just think
he was unbelievable. Yeah,
I think he maintained for so many. I think he was really consistent for quite a number of years, not just at United but other teams as well. I think that's who comes to the forefront of my mind. I'm sure there are probably other ones that people could argue, but.
Well, then it says fullback duo, so then you're going to have to put
the thing,
Neville
duo
or...
who you...
The thing
it's
is,
harder to pick a duo with that position,
it's
isn't it?
quite rare that you get two fullbacks who are good as each other. That's the thing. I think in recent... Obviously, Trent and Robertson are brilliant now.
Yeah.
So are Pavard and Davis, or sometimes Kimmich and Davis. Hakimi and Guerrero are brilliant at Dortmund. And I know people are going to think... I'm being a bit biased, but Danny Rose and Carl Walker, when Spurs were challenging for the title, in those 1 or 2 years, Rose and Walker were the best fullback partnership in England, and for England as well. They were great. I think, for me, in terms of legendary status, it has to be Roberto Carlos and Cafu. There's a left back and a right back who were part of one of the best Brazil teams ever. Who were phenomenal. I mean, Dani Alves and Jordi Alba, probably pretty close.
Good shout.
So yeah, something like that.
That's a hard question.
Yeah, tough one.
Okay, so next one. This is from Jonathan Das. So Alphonso Davies, Hakimi, Trent Alexander-Arnold. The list goes on if we're talking about world-class fullbacks, and the numbers back them up. Has the era of the midfield, the likes of Xavi, Iniesta, Alonso, etc., providing the assists, been changed in modern football? Love from Sri Lanka.
Oh, what a great question. That is a great question. Well, I don't want to get too tactical and nerdy in the answer to this question. I don't think the era has changed in midfielders being brilliant assist makers. We've just spoken about Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
About a fantastic playmaker and providing the assists. And certainly the likes of Thiago as well, phenomenal.
Yes.
Xavi, definitely. The way that football's been played has changed, and the spaces which are most impactful has definitely been changed with tactical revolutions in the last 20 years or so. In the 90s especially, when a lot of teams are playing 4-4-2, certainly in England, but I think elsewhere as well, the number 10 was the position. The number 10, the creative guy, the Tottis, Del Pieros, Roberto Baggios, I know they're very Italian. Then looking forward at likes of Mesut Ozil as well, especially. We didn't actually have any at all in England. We just had central midfielders in a 4-4-2. The way that they operated in space was amazing. And over the kind of years, especially with a defensive midfielder, a tough tackling defensive midfielder, or playing two defensive midfielders, it's congested the central part of the pitch. So much so that the player with all the space who was better at passing wasn't the number 10 anymore. The number 10 became basically a backup striker, which gave rise to players like Frank Lampard, arriving at the right time, banging in the goals. David Silva is another great number 10. So then it moved back. So then you got the deeper player in the midfield who suddenly had more space. Because everyone was worried about the number 10 and further up the pitch, deeper in the pitch gave way to these deep-lying playmakers. It switched from the number 10 being the playmaker to the number 6. That gave rise to players like Pirlo, De Rossi, Xabi Alonso, who would sit further back from all the action and they could pinpoint the passes. And I think nowadays, those players still do that. And Kevin De Bruyne, his passes from deep where he picks up the ball in a little bit more space instead of in the very congested attacking role. These players still make those passes. They're just probably making more pre-assists. Or they're keeping the game moving. Players like Thiago, who don't necessarily have the best stats, are so vital for Bayern if you watch him. Keeps the game ticking, keeps it moving, keeps the ball moving. And because there's such a congestion in the middle, and because we now have wingers who play on opposite sides and cut inside, there's so much more space on the wings for the fullbacks, which has then given rise to attacking fullbacks. So now it's kind of following the natural flow of football. The ball has moved from, instead of being in the number 10 position with creative players, it moved back to a deeper position. And now these passers in the deeper position are finding that there's more availability out wide to the wingers. And the wingers are able to bomb forward, as I said. The fullbacks, the wingers are cutting inside. And the fullbacks have got space to bomb on. And then we're seeing, the rise of a fullback who is technically gifted. And there are a few wingers who have been transformed to fullbacks who have the athleticism and the pace, but then have also got the technical ability to swing in crosses. And that is a very... I've tried to give it short there, guys. I hope you followed me.
Yes.
Great question. Sorry if I've absolutely just ranted on there, Angelina.
No, it was good.
That has been, why the assists are changing. wingers are getting more involved centrally, and there's so much more space for the fullbacks to be found and then to provide crosses. And yeah, you've seen it, as you mentioned, Alphonso Davies, Hakimi, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson. Liverpool, the perfect example of this.
Yeah.
The way they play, Fabinho sits deep. He's a really good passer, really good at breaking up the play and then finding the pass forward. And yeah, when he finds them out wide, assist. I should have just written this in the community tab, just one long post. But great question, Jonathan. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so next question is from Leicester Futsal. So, do you think that the Premier League table will have drastically changed by the end of the season after the restart due to such a long break, or do you think teams will go back to how they were before the lockdown? Ooh.
Good question. Shout out to the Leicester Futsal team. Part of me thinks, no, nothing will change. We saw it the Bundesliga. Bayern still winning, doing their thing. Dortmund still brilliant at attacking. Yes, Hertha may have changed. Schalke have come back worse. Leipzig haven't exactly hit the ground running. I can't see too much change in terms of form. That these teams are where they are because of that team, whether they play now, 2 weeks, in a month. There isn't going to be a sudden drastic change. Everyone's had the same time off. The only change you'll see is that in the return of injured players. You're now talking about United with Rashford back to full fitness. You're talking about Spurs with Kane and Son back to full fitness. Certainly Chelsea's worries have eased. These things are obvious difference, but they're not different because of the break. That's just what happens during the season, whatever. Whenever Kane comes back, Spurs will be better off for it. It doesn't... It's nothing to do with the break, I guess. Look, we'll come back, and my guess is that of the, 9, 10, whatever remaining games, Liverpool will win all, if not the majority of the games. So will Man City. Spurs and Arsenal will continue to struggle. I think United will have a good push for the top 4. I can't see too much drastically changing.
I can't. I think the only thing you might see is, I think you'll be able to tell who looked after themselves during lockdown. I think that's the only thing that you might see, which I don't think will affect teams massively, but you might see the odd player struggling a little bit. We might be looking at them sideways, thinking, were you ordering KFC on Deliveroo? What takeaways were you treating yourself to? Because you maybe thought everything was going to get cancelled, and now it's started up and you're thinking, oh my God, I need to get in the gym. But I agree. I think it's just going to be business as usual because it's still the same teams with the same strategies,
teams, same opposition. If Aston Villa come out playing like Barcelona, I'll be amazed. But I can't see that happening. But great question. Right, next up, Espresso Ajmal. Right, quick fire.
Okay.
Outside of football. Talking of fast food. Pizza or burger?
Pizza.
Good call. Beach or mountain holiday?
I'm too lazy, beach.
Handball or basketball?
Basketball.
Yes. Cat or dog?
See, I discussed this on my first ever Q&A, my issues with cats and dogs, but dog I'll just go with.
FIFA or PES?
I'm not a great player of all these types of games. I'll be honest, so I'll just go with FIFA. So.
Car or motorbike?
I don't drive a motorbike, so I'll go with car.
Yeah, me neither. Movie or a series?
At the moment, I'll go with series. I like having something I can go back to and,
Get to know Angelina. Good question. Right, next up.
Okay, this is from Liv Thorpe. So do you have any favourite artists or songs?
Oh my God. Yeah, but way too many.
Yeah.
Way too many to
Who's your top 3 favourite bands or artists?
Oh my God.
And to be fair, I don't think I could pick 3.
I couldn't pick 3. I go through so many phases. I get ripped so much in the office for having a bizarre music taste.
True.
It's not bizarre. It's just, I don't know. I'm into, it's probably rock music.
Yeah.
And that is extraordinarily broad.
Very.
So I'm going to go with, I'm trying to think who one of my favourite bands are. Incubus that's proper 90s. Incubus were amazing.
I'll nod like I listen to them.
Yeah, they were super good when it comes to kind of alternate rock bands. Oasis as well. The Verve. Yeah, these kind of. I'm living in the 90s here, aren't I? Yeah, definitely those three are up there. Linkin Park were great when I was younger as well.
Yes.
I can't really think of anyone else. Different genres of music, I have different favourite artists. I've probably like annoyed a lot of people. They'd be like, what? They suck! You listen to their latest album? Screw you, Matt. What about you? Who are you going for?
Top three. In no particular order. Tupac's in there. I'm not getting into a Tupac Biggie argument with anybody. I'm sure that will start kicking off in the comments. Tupac, I would probably say...
I just remembered, with our young audience, they probably don't know who any of these people are.
I was going to say, because my next one would probably be Budgie Banton, but I don't know, unless you listen to a lot of, like, dancehall reggae.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Don't know who he is. And I don't know who I would finish it off with. Oh my God, this is really hard. You know what? As my third one, because I am such a nice person, I would go with my cousin who's a singer. So she would be my third favourite.
Boom.
Because she's a very good singer. So there you go.
Lovely stuff. Right, the last one, Ultra. What was your least favourite subject at school?
Oh my God.
Everything for me.
Yeah. I would just say broadly science. I think probably out of the sciences, it would probably be more physics, because chemistry, we got to like blow stuff up and like we made s'mores in chemistry. I remember we used to make s'mores, so that was fun. And biology, I would just say science as a general, just because I don't think I have a very scientific brain. I don't think. I think I'm more like languages and stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go with maths.
Oh, yeah, actually.
Oh, maths.
See, I was very lucky that my best friend that I sat next to was very good at maths. So I was like, do you want to just do some extra homework? No, I'm joking, I didn't do that. But
I get like it's such an important thing. I don't want to go into it. But yeah, maths was so boring for a kid.
Maths and science.
For me, it was maths and Latin. Latin was the worst.
Oh, see, I got out of Latin.
Oh, you're lucky kids if you don't have to do that. Anyway, thank you so much for all of your questions. We'll stop the math talk there. Every Wednesday night in the YouTube community tab is where you can leave your questions for the following week's Q&A. There's a lot of people asking. I see this every week. Where do you leave the questions? I'm like, why don't you watch the video? If you've made it this far, thank you. And you now know where to leave the questions. Thank you as always. Myself and Angelina are back every single Friday for a Q&A. But until next time, have a great weekend. And we will see you guys later.